But for anyone who doesn't know what a septic tank is, it's a tank that some buildings will have, and its entire purpose is to store sewage. Sometimes it can be used to store other things, but predominantly in the United States it's usually used for sewage. And the other thing that's there with septic tanks is sometimes if one isn't in a place where it's not registered, and people decide to do something like dig a random hole near the top, there's a chance they could fall into a septic tank that's unmarked. It's okay. There's a lot of stuff to clean off the top of this. They could say a bird crapped on the shoe. Funny thing is, that's one of the few words that doesn't get censored on YouTube. What about what? Wait a minute. Are you recording as well, or no? Oh. You have the option to record this on your PlayStation if you want. Understandable. You have to admit that it is also a lot of work to make a video on YouTube. You have to admit it is kind of fun being able to make these, and then when they're on YouTube they can be memories for years to come. I do have to admit that my most viewed video on my channel has me just about rage quitting. Oh well. Not my proudest moment, but does get attention to my channel. You have to use the high pressure to clean the tip top of this main foot area for the shoe. It's moss I'm getting off, so I need the high pressure, otherwise the moss doesn't come off. Oh, will you look at that? The laces are finally getting clean enough. Oh my word, there's just a lot of material up here that does not want to come off. If you need the ladder, you can snag it from me if you want. That would be a nightmare playing this in full VR. Also imagine all the OCD moments. almost feels like I'm not getting much done up here because it's just, well, not quite specs, but it's like not much left to get done. But it's just enough that when I do the one button to see what's there, I can see it. Yeah, but sometimes you need the red one just because it has the high pressure and that gets rid of a lot of grime real easily. But it's also very precise, which, what? Where are you? Uh, I'm not on the shoe. Oh, how are you floating? I don't know how you're doing that. I can help you with this one window. Hey, you have the upgrade that gives you an advantage. I have to get specific angles that requires me to do a little bit of eyeballing. A few days ago, I got myself a copy of the seasons for regular show, and all I can say from rewatching it as an adult, it's actually just kind of a crazy show. Like, it's even crazier than I remember it being. I have yet to see the ending, but I have to work through all 8 seasons in the movie. Yeah. When I bought the seasons, it said that the movie was included. Yeah. I also got to learn the movie for Babylon 5, but then again, King of Egypt. Yeah. That's another good movie, but it's so hard to get a copy of that now. Yeah. I wish that more animated movies were made like that. Like, don't get me wrong, there is some 3D CGI that is good, but a lot of it just, there's just a lot of it I do not like. Like, I just prefer the 2D over the 3D. You know, there's some, like, for example, it's a new Lilo and Stitch movie. Like, yes, they did make Stitch look kind of real, but I do have to admit, my opinion on it. Yeah. That's probably the most kid-friendly way of putting it, because they could have done a little bit better with the casting. Because, like, in all reality, a 6-year-old is going to be kind of ridiculous. Just what? Yeah. I do like that they got one of the original actors, actually not one, but a few of the original actors from the original film in the movie. They had the original actor for Nanny, but she was in place of a social worker for the live action. Name XC is also a good film, though very ahead of its time. Yeah. 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 Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Also, have to admit, it does make me sad that a lot of creativity for movies just died in Hollywood. Because, for the most part, a lot of it is just the same thing but recycled over and over. Hmm. Yeah. Saving Mr. Banks is also another one. Actually, it's one of the movies that Disney made that is based on real life. The author for... Crap. Actually, it wasn't about her nanny. It was about the woman who wrote the book. And then her father was a person who was an alcoholic. It was during a time when alcoholism was not diagnosed or recognized as an illness or an issue in society. Yeah. Her dad loved her, but then he was a alcoholic, and just like things in the 1900s, I don't remember. But what I can say is it is a history piece, because when Walt Disney wanted to make... Oh crap, am I not thinking of the name right now? For the movie that was based on that author's book, Disney wanted to make a lot of... Yeah, Disney wanted to make a movie based on her book because Walt Disney's daughters loved the book a lot. So he brought the writer of their favorite book and wanted to have an entire movie based on that book. Yeah. It, yeah. Well, you have to remember that it was a time where women did not do too much. And when women did do things, they didn't always get credit, which is one of the sad things about the early 1900s, is women were starting to be recognized for things, but still were not getting the credit for it. Oh my word, why can't I remember the name of one Disney film? What's it called? What? That's another good one, and Disney did not do too well with the live action. Yeah. 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 I will say this, my first complaint that I have for the live action that Disney did is why did they turn what's his name, who's supposed to be an orangutan, into a King Kong ripoff? I understand that they, yeah. I know that the kid's small. Why did they make an orangutan that was big, like really, really? Well, even Wussing's being giant, that wouldn't have been an orangutan. Wait, why has to be cleaned? Oh, the wooden trims. Okay. Oh, that's the trimming. There's so many wooden trimmings, it's hard to figure out which one it could be. Oh. Yeah, they're like right behind the rope. Oh. Window frame. Is that down here? Oh. No, but I know where I hope it's not. Oh, trims up the fronts. Okay, you're so much better at this. One trim. Now there's one more. Uh, Also, realistically speaking, can't imagine living in a house of this design would be fun. Mainly because you only have one tiny room that you probably have a hammock in. Yeah. I can tell where a kitchen would be, which would be where the front of the foot would be. I forget the scientific term. I remember the last time I played this. Oh. Oh well. Going back to what I was saying, the last time I ever played this, I did the Mars rover one. And I never finished it because I could not find the last little specklet of grime. And before that, yeah. You entered God mode. Modification. No. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, let's do the vintage car. Just because that shouldn't be too ungodly massive. Yeah, I can do the high pressure. Oh, this house. One of the easiest houses to clean. Well, time to get to work. I like how we both immediately go for the exact same tire. If I knew my cars better, I could probably say what this is. Okay, I do not need as high a sprayer as what I thought I would need. Hmm. Soap. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if the people who made this will make more games that are like it, but different. Imagine if they made Powerwash plus like a pesticide game where you have to be like an exterminator and get rid of pests that are in people's houses. Think about how interesting that would be as a game premise. Flipper. Yeah. Interesting. But wouldn't House Flipper be that you also have to fix the house? Because I don't have soap still, I have to just use the high pressure. In the spare tire. That's kind of fascinating that when it comes to older cars, the number one thing that people will notice is that older cars had much larger engines, and then now we have tiny engines that break way too easily. Like, what's these? Yeah, bigger engine, but for this engine to break, you'd have to go through a lot more work to break it. Unless, of course, you decide to drive off a cliff. Then again, that would destroy almost any car that I can think of. You have, like, really tiny cracks that have to be cleaned. In real life, you'd actually have an entire thing that you can lie on that allows you to be above the car. And then again, you also wouldn't be cleaning this outside unless you had, like, the worst or bare minimum for cleaning things. But then again, when it comes to the automotive industry, there are some oddball areas. I also like how we're, like, slowly working our way to the back of it. Oh, give me a moment. Oh well. Let's see. When it comes to movies, just generally speaking, there are ways to remake a movie and have it be good. Like, for example, with the live-action How to Train Your Dragon film, which was actually loyal to its source material, to an extent, is it doing really well in theaters. I personally haven't seen it, but I might be able to see it this week. If I'm lucky. Remember sometime back I was recommended Walking Dead, but for whatever reason, I have not been able to like that show. But people almost constantly rave about it to me. But Like, I understand it is a zombie concept, but for whatever reason, I was just unable to enjoy it. But, hmm. Yeah. Something I do know from watching the first few episodes is you actually see a number of people that are in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the funny things about when you start watching a lot of shows and movies is after a while you'll start seeing a lot of familiar faces. But then again, with acting, in order to actually make a career, you have to be in a lot of things, with few exceptions. Uh, I know that the Last of Us game is good, but I've not been hearing much of anything good about the show. Uh, but one thing that is there is when you don't listen to the fans or listen to your audience, something will not do as well. Like if you get a good fan base, yeah. That's another thing that I have to say that's there in Hollywood is the stereotype for a strong, independent woman, but then they make her into an emotionless robot. That's sort of what they did with Captain Marvel, because in the comics, she is uber emotional and does cry a lot. But then for live action, she has the exact same face regardless of what's going on. It's like she had the physique, but then when it came to getting emotional, she just had the exact same face. Yeah. Because they took one of the strongest characters of Marvel that's considered a hero, and like there are ways that they could have made the movie be more accurate because they already had an actress who could look the part. Yeah. Yeah. Like they had a woman who looks like she could do the part, but then they didn't have like anything that could have been done to make her seem like an emotionless robot was done. Like, and that's just for Captain Marvel. Like, I also know that behind the camera she was obnoxious to work with, which is why a lot of people didn't like to work with her. She was sort of liked by Stan Lee, but unfortunately we don't know the full list of reasons why. And, like, my opinion is they could have had her, like, there's ways that they could have had her do better for the role, but for the most part, they just chose not to do anything else with it. Because in the comics, she's supposed to be this very emotional character, And it's like that's her weak spot, is she's supposed to be highly emotional. And then in scenes where she's supposed to be emotional, she does not seem to be any different. Like the stereotype for a macho man, if you've taken out all the emotion. Like, do things just because you think that's what makes that person macho. Right. 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 And going outside of the realm of Disney hijacking and doing things, for General Marvel, I've noticed that they rely so much more on CGI now. It's like, oh, we need something for a movie, CGI. And the newest Captain America film that come out, like, they had ways to make it good, and then they fumbled Red Hulk badly. Then again, for anyone who has watched the end of it, spoiler ahead, somehow Falcon survives a few direct blows without immediately having every bone broken. That's why I said spoilers ahead. And I'm not going to add anything else on that besides holy hell, for as much money as they spent on the movie, especially doing reshoots, they could have done better. That's all I can say is... Oh. Oh. The underside of this compartment. You're actually pushing me back with that. Whoa! Okay, that was unexpected. I did not know you can yeet people into the air like that. Just getting these last little bits. Oh. So... Oh, headlights, headlights. Oh, this headlight. So I'm trying to figure out how to clean this one headlight. You know, the good thing is it can highlight exactly which one. You know that's this one, but can't quite figure out what on it needs to be cleaned. Oh. Oh. Horns. Just got the horn. Door handles. Here's the top of it that had to be cleaned. Where is the last one? Oh, that one. Job complete. Yeah. Yeah. Want to do another one, or would you like to end the video here? The longer we go, the more time I have to go through for editing. Okay. Yeah. Continue playing the game off camera and then do something else. And then return on a different level. Yeah. 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 I'll just have the few that we just did just be put together as one video. But anyways, thank you for watching, and have a good day, everyone.